Just because it says microfiber doesn't mean it's nice and soft.
Hey everyone, Zach here with GP Cycleworks, and we get a lot of questions about how to maintain or even polish acrylic windshields. So we thought it would be best to do a simple, kind of fun video, but also there are going to be a lot of little important tips in it. So we're going to show you what products to use to polish the acrylic windshields, why we want to polish the acrylic windshields, how to do it, and also how not to do it. So we'll have a little fun at the end showing a few things that you're not supposed to use, and then we'll do the demonstration on how to get scratches out. We've got a few different screens here that already have scratches in, so that's what we'll demonstrate, is how to use a Novus brand polish, which we'll talk about later, and we use that to get some of the scratches out. Alright, so let's get to it.
Alright, so the first question we're going to answer is, why do you even want to polish or maintain the windshields? Unfortunately, the material we use is not glass, so it is an acrylic product. So it will scratch if there's high pressure applied to the windshield, or if there's a lot of debris on the windshield that gets rubbed into it. So the main reason we want to polish it is really to have a fine wear layer of polish on the acrylic, so that kind of takes the beating before the acrylic does. Kind of like wax does on the body of a car. You know, you've got a wear layer of wax so that if that wears down, it doesn't actually scratch the paint. So that's the same concept here. So we use this Novus #1 polish, which is light polish, leaves that nice layer on there. So that kind of leads into the second question of what to use, which is a pretty critical detail, because there's a polish component and then there's a cloth component. So for the polish, this might look like a Novus commercial, but this is just the product that we've used for decades, really, since they started in 1973, I think. I think we started using them in '78. But they make a really high quality plastic polish. They've got a few different grades. They've got a #1, which is like their fine polish. That's kind of the wear layer that you're going to have on the windshield. There's a #2, which is a fine scratch remover, so kind of like a thin wax. And then there's a #3, a heavy scratch remover, which is more of a thicker wax, which really takes heavier scratches out. The next question is, when do you polish it? So whenever we make an acrylic windshield, the last thing we do before we put it in the bag and ship it in the box is apply a real liberal coat of the #1 all over the windshield. So once you open up the bag, it's going to have that heavy layer of #1 on it, but unfortunately most of our products need installation. So the first time that really a customer would need to apply a fine layer of the #1 is after you're done handling it. If it's one that needs drilling, after you're done drilling it, you know, kind of clean it all off, and then you'll want to do the #1 to keep that fine layer on. The other times you're going to want to polish it is after any kind of like heavy rainstorm that you're riding in that could wash away the layer, or anytime there's a buildup of debris or dirt from a long road or an off-road trip where it's coated. Because anytime there's debris or dust on the windshield, it's going to increase the chances of getting scratches on it, and it's just going to wear down that polish layer. Alright, so the last step that we're going to show is actually how to polish the windshield. We talked about the product we use. There's quite a few different plastic polishes out there on the market. There's a Plexus polish for plastic. Rain-X makes a polish for plastic. The key component among all these things is you want it for plastic. These are real high-grade plastics, but you pretty much want it for plastic. Any kind of glass and mirror cleaner are going to have a little more chemicals in them, and they'll also work better with abrasive cloths, which kind of leads to the next component, is the cloths, because in general you're going to want to use a soft cloth. We've thrown around the term microfiber before, but there's so many different types of microfiber. So we've got a few here where there's, you know, a soft microfiber cloth, which is what we're going to use, but we also have another microfiber labeled cloth that is more abrasive. And really, when you look at the details of it, it's a glass and mirror cleaner, which are materials that you can use high pressure to clean them off. Whereas the acrylic, you're going to want to use low pressure and a softer cloth so that you're not actually applying scratches when you're trying to remove them or protect the windshield. So we've got a few other things. We'll talk about what not to use, but we just wanted to make that distinguishing point that just because it says microfiber doesn't mean it's nice and soft. So you actually want to feel it and make sure it's soft. If you've got a kit from us, the cloths can feel a little dry, so we recommend wetting them out just a little bit and then getting all the moisture, because that really takes out any chance of scratching. So we've got here a cloth that comes straight out of the kit, and also a cloth out of the kit, but we've gotten it wet and rinsed out all the moisture, so it's really soft here. All right, so that was a kind of long explanation of how and what to do. So now we'll actually get to polishing it. We've got these screens that are older demo screens that we've had laying around, so they are really beat up. So we're gonna run it through the cycle of the number 3, number 2, and number 1 and see how many scratches we can get out on this one. So pretty much using everything provided in these polish kits, and we're gonna start with our number 3. I guess the first important point is to shake it up if it hasn't been used in a while. We've got instruction kit in the kit that's pretty important also. It's got a lot of good tips in it. And so we'll apply this pretty liberally all over the windshield. And one important point in the installation or the instructions on the polish is that you're going to want to apply it with long strokes, and then you let it set up like a wax does on a car. You typically will not be using this number 3 product over the whole windshield. This is mainly just for getting out small scratches, but we've got scratches all over this one, so we're applying this product all over the windshield just to see how much nicer it will come out. All right, so now that it's set up a little bit, we're gonna use the same cloth. We're just gonna kind of fold it over and get a clean area of it. And then to take it off, we will go in circular motions, pretty similar to how you would do car wax. I put way too much on here, man. This is way too much. And we will have another pass at taking it off. Yep, we definitely got a little excited and put a little bit too much of the number 3 on here, but this is going to make a real nice coat for the next step we do here. So I don't know if we talked about it before, but one critical component is you don't want to apply high pressure because you'll introduce more scratches. So we're really just doing light passes just to pick up everything that's there, and we're kind of letting the product do its work. All right, so we've got our number 3 liberally applied, probably a little bit too much, but we really wanted to cover the whole windshield. And now we're gonna move on to the number 2, which is gonna get a little more of the haze off and also a little more of the scratches. And I'll be a little less excited about putting it on. I just wanted to make sure there was coverage everywhere. So we'll just do a little bit to appropriate. Like I said, this is mainly going to be applied for small scratches, but we wanted to cover this whole windshield. So then we'll come back with our circular motions. So now that we've got our number 3 heavy scratch remover applied, we've got a number 2 fine scratch remover applied, we're going to use the number 1, the blue, which is going to be the main polish. The only product that you're really going to want to do complete coverage on is going to be this number 1, which is a lot more liquidy. And if you don't have a spray bottle, you're just going to dump it on and same thing. Apply it in the long strokes, and it's going to get the haze out from the other 2 products. Could probably do another pass with a not so doused rag. So the other component is the cloth. So we've got another dry soft cloth here. The instructions for the Novus does recommend non-reusable ones, because reusable ones can always pick up debris when you're polishing, and then you're once again adding more scratches rather than taking them off. But we'll use this one more time with the polish just to really help get a good layer on and clean up everything else that we've got. You already see that the polish is itself just floating off there, so this is going to have a nice layer, be real clean. Got the scratches out, and then also kind of protected against future scratches. On rags like this, you're going to want to make sure you use the center of the rag, just so you don't have any seams, nothing abrasive on the acrylic that could introduce more scratches. Alright, so we just finished showing why to polish windshields, when to do it, how to do it, and now we're gonna have a little fun here and show you what not to do with your brand new acrylic windshield. The main products, like we talked about, not to use are any glass cleaners with abrasive cloths. So that's gonna be our big thing. So we've got our home cleaning kit here of Windex and a dry paper towel. So we'll get a little Windex on it, and our nice dry paper towel. And the other critical thing we're going to do is we're going to try and polish this thing with pressure rather than actual polish. And this does have a nice layer of our number 1 on it. Oh yeah, it's starting to get, I can feel it drying up. Alright, so we used our Windex and paper towels. This did have a pretty heavy layer of number 1 on it, so kind of shows you that that really does protect it, having the polish on it. Now it's getting real dry, there's no polish on it. The next thing we're going to clean it with is just a abrasive microfiber. So this is like a glass and mirror one, so you can feel it's a little more abrasive. Doesn't have like the longer threads that the other microfiber was. And we'll just rub this all the polish is definitely off now. See, it's even getting harder to swirl, and you can kind of see the swirls in there. Alright, so we've done our paper towel with Windex, we've done our dry glass microfiber. The last thing we are not supposed to use is any kind of reusable rags that you've got laying around your shop or garage that clearly have debris, oils, chemicals, you know, kind of whatever you got. So if your rag looks like this, don't use it on your brand new windshield. Go out and, you know, invest the $5 in a soft microfiber, or get the polish kit that includes the cloths with it. So we'll just keep, you know, we'll try to get these scratches out with this beat up cloth and see if we make any progress. So as you can see, it didn't do it right away, but the compilation of removing the polish with the Windex and then using the dry cloths, that you're eventually going to leave swirl marks in the windshield. The nice thing is that you can get them out with our Novus polish, but the main idea is that you're maintaining the windshield so that you do not have to do this. So keep that fine layer of polish on the windshield and it will keep it protected. There's a few other small tricks and tips that we've got for getting debris or anything off the windshield if it sucks. So sometimes adhesives will get on it, and one kind of funny trick we have is to use oil to get adhesives off. And we're not talking about motor oil, but really you just like rub your nose a little bit, get a little nose oil, and it sounds like it's a funny trick, but it's actually really productive, especially if you've got that fine layer on there of polish. It'll help get any adhesives on there. Some of the other tricks or products that you can use beyond the Novus, there's some more high dollar top coat polishes. So this is F11 top coat polish. This is really effective at keeping a fine layer of polish on there. All right, so we covered a lot of things in this video here. The main point was how to maintain your acrylic windshields, what to use and what not to use. We hope that answered a lot of questions. Once again, this really applies to acrylic that we use. There's other grades of acrylic and other materials out there. This is mainly to talk about how to maintain your acrylic windshield. If there are any questions or anything we said that was unclear, please comment below. We'll be happy to answer. Like and subscribe to the channel because we're going to release more videos on acrylic just to answer anybody's questions. All right.